So yesterday, the Senate voted 52 to 47 to block the FCC's repeal of net neutrality rules. Now, of course, the FCC under Trump appointed Ajit Pai. Ajit Pai was on the FCC before. He was appointed there by Obama because I guess the rules mandate that you have to appoint somebody, two people, two Democrats, two Republicans, and whoever and the president gets to pick the chairman of the FCC. So Ajit Pai was one of the commissioners, and when Trump got into office, he appointed him as the head of the FCC. Now, he chose him because he wanted to eliminate net neutrality rules. That's been a big Republican dream because that helps out the donors, as you're going to see. Now, Pai, of course, voted to rescind those rules, despite those rules being incredibly popular with both Democrats and Republicans. The majority of both party voters said net neutrality rules, yes, we actually like those rules because we actually like the internet to be free and fair and open. Not only that, but look, net neutrality had the rare distinction of being supported by big corporations as well. You had Google, Netflix, Mozilla, and numerous small businesses that also signed on to try to protect net neutrality. And of course, on the side of Ajit Pai, you pretty much had all the telecommunications companies, AT&T, Comcast, Verizon, who had in the past been caught trying to block and throttle and create paid prioritization lanes, and had been stopped by the FCC before. So that's why in 2015, we decided we had to codify these rules. And the Republicans always bring it back to, well, net neutrality didn't exist before 2015, so this is just big government overreach. No, it's not, you idiots. This is the government, or this was the government back in 2015 saying, look at all the times that these companies have tried to breach the idea of net neutrality, which the internet was founded on. The founders of the internet were like, let's make sure the government treats all content equally, and that the ISPs, the literal pipelines to the internet, are also treating every piece of content, a piece of data that goes through the same. Well, these companies are like, no, we can actually make an extra buck doing all this other stuff, this paid fast lanes and all this stuff, and then maybe a little blocking and throttle for my competitors who have competitive streaming services. Yeah, no, there's money to be made. You get the hell out of the way. So that was what Ajit Pai's job was, is to basically roll that back. And he was able to do so in a 3-2 vote. Now, what happened yesterday then? I thought this situation was over. Well, it turns out that Senate Democrats, along with a couple of Republicans, decided, what we're going to do is that we're going to pass a resolution of disapproval. Now, that is actually part of the Congressional Review Act. Now, what is the Congressional Review Act? Basically, what they can do is that Congress, using the Congressional Review Act, can invalidate a ruling by any government agency, such as, in this case, the FCC, and prevent similar rules from being put into place in the future. So this had been used widely during the Trump administration by Republicans to eliminate regulations on, for example, dumping coal ash into rivers and other environmental regulations. So they use the Congressional Review Act to eliminate those regulations and prevent similar regulations from being put into place. Now, the Democrats have decided, what would be a great idea, especially when it comes to elections, since this is such a popular issue. Let's actually try to let's use the Congressional Review Act this time for something good, to restore net neutrality. Well, it's a fantastic idea, and it actually shows the Democrats attempting to run on something. So that's exactly what they did. Now, every single Democrat, and several Republicans decided to join in to try to pass this resolution. Now, I got to give credit to these Republicans. Again, this was mainly a Democratic effort led by Ed Markey. This is his bill. But joining him is Suzanne Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. Okay, so those are pretty familiar Democrats, Republicans who are the so-called moderates, right? Okay, good. That's good to see them. But we also have John Kennedy of Louisiana. Well, that's an unexpected vote. Well, good to have you, John Kennedy. No, look, I don't agree with these Republicans on much, if anything. But you know what? I have to thank them for doing the right thing right now. Wonderful. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm not going to go through and thank all of the Democrats for voting in favor of this. Again, this is good for re-election. What I want to do is actually want to point out the people, some of them who voted against net neutrality, and then I'm going to show you why. Now, first off, we have Republican Roy Blunt. Now, Roy Blunt from Missouri. Now, he voted against net neutrality. He thinks corporations should be able to control what you see on the internet, and they should be able to charge you more for access to the same kind of websites, to the same websites that you had been previously not having to pay extra for. So basically, Roy Blunt is a fucking asshole. I'm just going to put it out there. He is a corporate stooge. He is a goddamn tool. Just like Ajit Pai. Now, let me show you the reason that Roy Blunt is a corporate tool. And it has to do with how much he received from the telecommunications industry. He received $1,283,416 in legal campaign bribes from the telecommunications industry. So that's in total donations. So look, that's like super PACs, PACs, and what is it? Independent expenditures, campaign contributions, whatever you want to call it. It's legal bribery, and it went right into the pockets of Roy Blunt to help him win a campaign. Now, the next biggest is Mitch McConnell. So he is, of course, the Senate Majority Leader. He received about $1,119,163 from that very same industry. And, of course, he got all that money to vote against net neutrality. Next, we have John Thune, who received $928,428. Richard Burr was $733,127. Chuck Grassley, $727,219. Orrin Hatch, $677,830. John Cornyn with about $600,000. Cory Gardner with just over $500,000. Thad Cochran, $516,000. Good old Lindsey Graham, who wasn't met a war he doesn't like, and loves taking money from corporations, received $485,442. Marco Rubio, who got challenged about taking NRA donations, also has been taking telecommunications donations and to the tune of $391,679. Ted Cruz, of course, called it Obamacare of the internet in referring to net neutrality, took $322,505 in legal bribes. Jeff Flake, so-called hero of the Democratic resistance, took $268,500. Rand Paul, Libertarian Supreme, took $116,278 to allow corporations to charge you more, block and throttle and censor. Hey, Rand, I thought you were against censorship, you fuckface. And Ben Sass, classy Ben Sassy, as some people like to call him, took $75,950. And famous hog collar or hog deballer Joni Ernst took $44,500. Obviously, that's not all the Republicans in the Senate that took money, but you get the point. Joni Ernst, by the way, she was bought for less than $50,000. These politicians go real cheap. I mean, look, the return on investment for these companies, as you can see, I mean, yes, the more powerful Republican you get, the more obviously it costs to bribe them. But you've got Joni Ernst over here getting $44,000, $44,500, and of course most of them getting just under $1 million from this industry. Kind of shows you, look, even though it seems like a lot of money is spent lobbying, in reality, they spend this much money because they know they're going to get an excellent return on investment. They know that bribing our politicians will be well worth the money spent. They're going to make billions of dollars from the repeal of net neutrality. And so, look, that's why they're voting against it. That's why a lot of Republicans in the House, which is, again, Republican dominated, are probably going to vote against this this CRA, this resolution of disapproval, and ultimately, why Donald Trump will likely will likely veto this if it ever gets to him. So it's all about the money. This is why money in politics matters. This is why we have to fight back against the corruption and get our democracy back. Because in a democracy, something as popular as net neutrality rules, as the whole idea that all our content should be treated equally and fairly on the internet without being slowed down or blocked or throttled, is an idea that should be in place. But because we have a corrupt government, because we live in an oligarchy, because we have corporate control over almost every facet of our lives, is it any surprise that the corporations will always win when it comes to policy over the will of the American people? We've got to fix this system. We've got to get the money out. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.